are these people?
We're going to get going to our first article, which is actually one that I wrote and published this morning. So this is an INN exclusive. Only because nobody else will cover it. All right. and really, it's because I saw this kind of narrative forming. And I actually have been having a bunch of conversations with our friend Golden Monarch, who's in the chat. Good to see you, Golden. He and I talk crypto all the time and how crazy the crypto market is and how corrupt everybody is in generating this artificial hype for a quote. Is it an asset? Well, not really, because there's nothing really behind it. Is it a Ponzi? Well, not really, because nobody's actually actively out there promising massive returns, which is part of what a Ponzi does. It's like it's built on an industry of cool, and it's whatever everybody thinks it's worth, and it keeps going up because this one's buying more of it and this one's buying more of it, and they're all playing the hoarding game because there's a limited amount, but then there's a halving and there's all kinds of stuff. So I want to just talk a little bit about a couple of the coins that are making a lot of news lately, which is Bitcoin, okay, and Tether. Tether is a stable coin. So that is a coin that is effectively like a US dollar. It's pinned to the US dollar. It slightly has variations up and down. Maybe it's worth 99 cents, 98 cents, $1 and 0.005 or whatever. It stays around $1 all the time. And these coins are that's not a stable coin. That's an actual coin. Reef.
I mean, it's pretty stable.
All right.
I mean,
so
I feel like it's stable enough.
Tether has been making a lot of money by investing the money that it takes in exchange for coins and investing in other assets and other things like Bitcoin, which goes up in value, raises the value of their Tether. So it's really crazy what's happening. But of course, we also talked about MicroStrategy and how that is a Ponzi, and the reason why that is a Ponzi is because they're borrowing money in order to be able to buy Bitcoin, and in some point it will get to a point where they can no longer borrow enough or service the debt to the point where they can raise enough money from the sale of stock and the sale of from profits from outside of asset appreciation. Right? It really is a house of cards. So the first thing is that this is a very long, slightly longer article. For everyone that subscribes to Indie Media Today, if it's in your inbox, it gets cut off because there's only a certain length that the email programs will allow. But I said, let's start off this whole conversation. Monarch sent me this recently. By understanding that per BlackRock, let me share my screen with Reef. Per BlackRock, all right, quantum computing could result in a malicious actor compromising the wallets holding Bitcoin owned by the trust or others on the network, which would result in losses to shareholders. What do you mean losses? So basically, they're telling you how this whole thing is going to be rug pulled, and how basically they can break through your wallets and potentially compromise the security of the network, which is what everything is based upon, is how secure Bitcoin is. All right. By the way, Indie News Network operates on a value for value system. So I put that in there with a link to the Ko-fi. But what's interesting about all of this is the hype that's being built around Bitcoin. Okay, that you've got Michael Saylor running around hyping it up. You've got this Dominic Bay guy that Golden Monarch has reported on, Max Kaiser, and a whole group of clowns that run around screaming about how badly the financial system is in trouble and how Bitcoin is the savior. I mean, they're literally like Bitcoin evangelists. So again, we talked about Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy, which, by the way, he rebranded the company called Strategy now. He got rid of the micro. All right. And as we mentioned recently, Cantor Fitzgerald increased its position in Michael Saylor's company, which is borrowing to buy as much Bitcoin as it can. So now you've got Cantor Fitzgerald investing in strategy, which is investing in Bitcoin, which is basically Cantor Fitzgerald now investing in Bitcoin. That's bad. That's bad. Because rather than investing in actual assets or in actual companies or actual people, now they're just investing in a digital key that they're anticipating will go up over time and never really go down. Why is it a problem? Because strategy is borrowing at ridiculously high rates to buy Bitcoin right now, and in order to service the debt load, they'll have to keep borrowing or cash out. And I included a link to that original segment from this show from a few weeks ago. But Cantor Fitzgerald isn't the only one that's buying Bitcoin. All right. We've also got Trump Media raising $2.5 billion to buy more Bitcoin. All right. All of these companies are now deciding that rather than producing a product that yields profits and having to pay employees and do payroll and everything else, now they're just like investing in Bitcoin and counting on that appreciation to make their stock grow. All right. So they don't actually have to do anything, and they're just making money on their investments. And as the people who buy more of their stock, the stock will go up because Bitcoin goes up. So everyone that owns the stock then makes more money as well. That's how the pyramid works. But eventually the price of Bitcoin is going to go down. All right. Now I brought this 3-minute video from Popular Information that I think is really good. Let me turn on Reef's sound so he can hear it. Let's watch this.
As in, the parent company of Truth Social just reported its latest numbers, and it is a financial disaster. In Q1 of 2025, they made $821,000 in revenue, but spent $40 million. And somehow the company is still worth $5 billion. Why? Well, because Trump owns about half, and his fans buy up stock like it's a MAGA merch drop. And now they're about to pull a very chaotic pivot even for them. TMTG just announced that they are raising $2.5 billion. And instead of making better content or improving their platform, they're buying Bitcoin. They are turning into a Bitcoin holding company. Basically, if you buy Trump Media stock, you're not just buying a failing company. You're buying a slice of their crypto stash. This effectively copies MicroStrategy, a company that gave up selling software to hoard Bitcoin instead. But MicroStrategy has a Bitcoin guy at the helm. Trump Media has Trump. And that matters because Trump, as president, is literally shaping crypto policy. He has been talking about a strategic crypto reserve. So now investors aren't just betting on Bitcoin. They are betting on Trump influencing Bitcoin's future value, while personally profiting. They are also launching investment accounts around Made in America and faith and values. Basically using government tariffs and policies to pump stocks that they can invest in and collect fees from. The whole thing is a lot more than Truth Social. Trump is building a financial empire that rides on his presidency, and your portfolio might be part of the ride. Let us know what you think in the comments. This is Popular Information. Read the full report on popular.info and follow along for more accountability journalism.
Good stuff. Great stuff. Just completely ripping off their own fans, because who else buys $Trump coin, right? I got more. All right. And there's the article for more information about Trump Truth Social. All right. But it's not just Trump. GameStop? Wait. This is getting ridiculous. They announced a $500 million Bitcoin buy. All right. They said they were going to do this in March, and it dropped their stock like 20% instantly.
Have a good time with your Bitcoin.
And now they're doing it, and the stock went up briefly, and it ended up down by the end of the day. All right. And here you go. This came out of, I don't remember where, what is this? Analytics Insight. It remains unclear whether GameStop's Bitcoin investment will be a winning bet. The company is hoping that the value of Bitcoin will continue to rise over time, making the investment profitable. If Bitcoin prices remain strong or go higher, GameStop could see a boost in its overall financial health, On the other hand, if Bitcoin enters a bear market and loses a significant portion of its value, which it's done multiple times already, the company's financial position could suffer. This would not only affect their balance sheet, but also its stock price and investor confidence. Now, remember, all the short sellers that invested in GameStop that allegedly, according to our friend Ian Carroll, never closed the shorts. So they're paying to have the shorts open. They want this to go to zero because they own nothing if the stock goes to zero. Yeah. Some financial analysts believe that adding Bitcoin to corporate treasuries is a smart way to embrace digital finance. Others argue it's too risky, especially for companies not tech-focused or no steady profits. GameStop announced 6 months ago that they were going to invest in card trading and scoring the value and authenticity and
which of GameStop's doing card trading? What are they calling Pokemon cards?
Basically, yes. Yeah. They're going to rate and give you like a 9.4 mint rating for your Pokemon cards that you'll pay for.
I gotta get that Black Lotus, dog.
All right, but so you got GameStop.
Look out for $500 million for pack openings from GameStop.
Trump Media, $2.5 billion. Cantor Fitzgerald, they don't even tell you exactly what they invested in it. You also have Rumble. Rumble announced that they were going to set up one of these treasuries, like like it said, a corporate treasury, Bitcoin reserve. All right. Now, I wrote a little bit here that, first of all, Rumble got a massive cash infusion earlier this year from Commerce Secretary Lutnick, his investment via Tether, all right, in Rumble in December.
Yeah. All right. See it right at the top corner of your Rumble, right there, big Tether button.
Oh, I got more than that. I got a lot more than that coming. But Cantor Fitzgerald also arranged the SPAC that originally took Rumble public in 2021, helped them acquire and merge with locals, and then acquire Callin, and then helped to bring them from a SPAC to an actual publicly traded company called Rumble Incorporated. All of those things happened, and Cantor Fitzgerald got fees and was involved in all of it. Well, earlier, late last year, we announced that we covered that they announced $775 million investment in Rumble. Well, we were all, at least not all, I was asking, where's Rumble going to get cash from? Because Rumble's hemorrhaging cash at $10 million a month, and they're down to like $150 million, which means they had less than a year to go before they were going to run out of cash. Well, Uncle Howie showed up with $775 million. Now, he didn't want nothing for that $775 million, especially considering that Rumble still has not turned a profit, nor do they have any indicator of that. All right.
He at least wanted like cigarettes,
Well, he wanted to first of all market Tether, and the way that Rockfin, and we're going to use the word Rockfin because I'm going to equate what Rumble is doing to what Rockfin did. Rockfin aligned with Circle, USDC. Tether is USDT, which is basically another stablecoin, a competitor to Circle. So Tether looked at the marketplace and said, we want to partner with Rumble so that when Rumble pays their creators, they don't have to pay them in US dollars. They can pay them in Tether and invest the US dollars they take in and buy Bitcoin with it. That's what they want to do. All right. So Cantor Fitzgerald, like I said, acquired the public company, Rumble, acquired 188 Bitcoin in Q1 of 2025, which they announced in March as part of a $20 million strategic reserve plan. Now they just announced like another, that they're up to 210 Bitcoin. So they've acquired another 21 or 31 Bitcoin throughout Q2 as of May 8th, according to Chris, the CEO. All right. Now, he was also bragging back in November that Rumble Cloud has a Bitcoin treasury, right? Where would you want to spend your cloud budget? I don't know why that would matter. Okay. But them being involved in Bitcoin, again, they're counting on the price of Bitcoin going up to increase the value of their reserve so that if they ever, when they ever do need to rely on cash, though they're flush with cash right now, they have it sitting there in Bitcoin to be able to cash out if they need. That would be my only reason. That plus they want to hoard Bitcoin because they see it going up. Because, when you're in on the Ponzi, you never see it or think it's ever going to go down. You only count on it. Nice shot. You only count on it going up forever. So not only, and also with the backing of the president of the United States, go ahead.
If the Bitcoin goes up and places like GameStop suddenly have more liquid, does that not mean those shorts get fucked? Probably.
Yes. If the stock goes up, that's bad. Okay. That's bad for the people who hold shorts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not just about, now look, Trump controlling a lot having to do with regulating crypto and the Trump Justice Department working on crypto. You've got Eric Trump is involved with this American Bitcoin company. There you got Eric right there in this picture. All right, this was this week at the Bitcoin conference. You also, by the way, have Chris from Rumble right there, and Michael Saylor is in this picture, and a bunch of other, Don Jr., a bunch of other people that are involved in pumping and pushing Bitcoin, all in one photo. But Eric is involved in this company called American Bitcoin, all right, that the Emiratis just agreed to put $2 billion into while Trump traveled overseas to the Middle East. That's a little worrisome. So I thought that, we didn't let foreign companies invest in political families. I mean, it's definitely pushing the ethical line for sure. All right. Trump family crypto venture tapped as part of $2 billion Emirati-backed investment deal. All right. So this was an ABC News report. All right. As an Abu Dhabi state-backed investment firm is making $2 billion investment in crypto business deal that could serve as a major boost to the Trump crypto family venture.
Your crypto and everything else that you're playing with.
That's World Liberty Financial, which is based upon, I think, the Solana or the Tron backing, which involves Justin Sun. We're going to talk about Justin Sun in a minute. So this digital asset, this USD1, here's another stable coin, by the way. All of these are pushing to become the coin of record, the one that the United States ends up adopting as an actual dollar, as the digital dollar. So again, you've got Circle, you've got Tether, you've got World Liberty Financial's USD1, and I think a lot of people will be fooled by this one because they'll just think it's literally a dollar. Right? It kind of looks like a dollar.
Right.
So we're excited to announce that MGX's $2 billion investment in Binance. All right. Binance also then is going to invest in this World Liberty Financial thing. It kind of, and by the way, co-founder of World Liberty Financial, Zach Witkoff. You know that last name? His dad is literally negotiating the Middle East deal right now, Steve. So it's all nepotism. It's all family. All right. Here you go. After once deriding crypto as a scam, Trump last September announced that he and his sons were throwing their support behind World Liberty Financial. Right. And we talked about that at the time and how that boosted their net worth by billions. At least on paper, until they cash out. But crypto and ethics experts told ABC News that the timing and scope of the Trump family's foray into crypto raised questions about whether investors, including those from overseas, could try to leverage their investments to curry favor with the administration. Critics have raised issues with the Trump admin's regulatory role over crypto, while he stands to personally benefit from crypto ventures, like taking the cops off the beat on meme coins, while he made billions of dollars on a meme coin earlier this year.
Yeah.
All right. Trump has yet to release his financial disclosures as president, and he probably never will.
Of course not.
So it's
Yeah, he
unclear
knows
what
better.
arrangements he's made to ensure a firewall between his personal business and his presidency. He hasn't. Because he's won his last election. What are they going to do to him? They're not going to put him in jail. They've already tried to do that multiple times. Last month, a White House spokesperson told Reuters in a statement that Trump's assets are in a trust managed by his children. There are no conflicts of interest, as his children literally fly around the country with him and run his business on his behalf, listening to whatever he says. Are you fucking kidding me?
It used to be illegal.
Right?
Used to.
Right. Right. Justin's son, here we go. He was the moderator of that conversation. All right. He also
As opposed to Justin Moon.
became one of World Liberty Financial's biggest investors the day before the inauguration by buying $75 million worth of its other coin, WLFI. All right. He also, by the way, bought the most Trump shit coin. And I have that later on that he was able to attend a dinner with Trump in the United States, an exclusive dinner with only 220 people that spent the most on the Trump meme coin. They got like a steak and lobster dinner. Yeah, thanks. They had to spend like millions to be able to even get in the door there. Right.
And all they got was a lousy fucking hat.
Right. A month after that investment, SEC lawyers under the Trump admin moved to halt an alleged fraud case against Sun. That was for the Tron TRX scam. All right. Much of World Liberty Financial's operation is still shrouded in mystery, meaning it's bullshit, but its founders have touted its ambitious goal of integrating the venture into the everyday traditional retail system.
American bullshit.
It really is American bullshit. All right. That they needed this money to be able to say that they had money behind their stable coin. Now they got $2 million behind it. But where's it going to sit? They're basically going to siphon that money out and invest it.
Poison, they'll buy anything.
They'll buy Bitcoin with it, is what they're going to end up doing with it.
It don't make no motherfucking sense.
It's crazy. So back to my article here. Not only are they all buying into this American Bitcoin thing, even the state of Wisconsin doubles its exposure to Bitcoin. Yep. Racine, which is very interesting. Check out 7C's talking about the influence of Racine, Wisconsin, and also its connections with Flynn. But even Wisconsin is getting in on the action. They're seeing all these tremendous growth and gains, but the problem is they're buying it when Bitcoin is at its highest already and expecting that they're going to get massive return on investment. In order to have really made money on Bitcoin, you had to have bought it when it was under $10,000 or under $1,000 or under $100. Those are the people that are making real money on it. If you buy it at $108,000, and you sell it at $110,000 after 2 years, that's not a good return on investment. All right. Pavlos is saying 7Cs is the next Corbett. Maybe, man, maybe he's a good dude, and he's doing some really killer research right now. Now here's the other big thing is that we've been hearing for months that Rumble wants to invest in a digital wallet and create a digital wallet. What did that mean exactly? Well, on May 8th, Chris made a little bit more of an announcement about what it's going to be in partnership with Tether. Go figure. So now it will be the way that Circle backs Coinbase, Tether will back the Rumble wallet. Tether will compete, the Rumble wallet will compete directly with Coinbase. Our goal is to be the most prominent non-custodial Bitcoin and stablecoin wallet powering the creator economy. Coming in Q3.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Well, I'll tell you what that means.
You just said words.
No, these 4 words are everything to you and me, at least, and to other live streamers. What it means is that they now have a delivery mechanism to give you your Rumble rants and your monthly payout in Tether, rather than giving it to you in US dollars that people pay them in. Now they have a wallet
Where have we
to
seen
be able
this before?
Rockfin. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. April 28th, they announced that the wallet would be launched later this year. May 8th, they got a little bit more specific. All right, but they showed you screenshots of how pretty it's going to look. And basically, it's Coinbase, but green. All right. And I'm sure there'll be some different things in there, but literally, it's like a list of your assets, a news thing, a way to connect other wallets to it, or maybe even to get into your Rumble and get this connected to your Rumble account. He says, out of the big platforms, Rumble will now lead the way in being one of the first to introduce Bitcoin and Tether as a new financial highway for creators and users. I think YouTube is still working on DEI. Ha ha ha. This guy. I don't like anything that I see here. It worries me to no end, which is again why I want to separate. I want to separate our earnings from our platforms in every way, shape, and form possible. All right. I don't want Tether. I don't want to be paid in Tether. Fuck that. I don't need Tether. I want dollars. People who are giving through Rumble, they're going to pay on their credit card in dollars. They're not going to pay in Tether. If they pay in Tether, I'll take the Tether. But if they're going to pay you in dollars, you should be fucking paying me in dollars, not taking those dollars, investing them in something else, and then paying me out in a magic bean that you call Tether. That happens to be backed by your largest investor, by the way.
Chuck E. Cheese bucks, bro. You better be paying me in Chuck E. Cheese bucks.
It reminds me of Disney bucks, honestly. It's Disney bucks. But the thing is that Tether, where can you spend Tether right now? Who's accepting USDT as a form of payment? I don't know. I've never paid for anything with Tether other than to exchange it into real dollars to put into a bank account. I've invested in crypto before. I'm not talking out of my ass like I've never done this or used it or know anything about it. I've been burned by crypto. I've lost money with crypto. I made some money, but then I've lost way more than I've ever made. The last piece was about this Justin Sun guy. So Justin Sun, who we saw was under investigation by the SEC, but that's all of a sudden been paused because he's invested a ton of money in Trump Coin and in World Liberty Financial. Just straight fucking bribery, all right? Justin Sun, Tron founder, has been under investigation by the SEC and the Department of Justice. That investigation is status unknown. The SEC, we know, is paused. In a post on X, he revealed that he's the coin's largest holder, the $Trump coin, with a stash worth $23 million that keeps going down as the value of the Trump coin goes down because there's no value to it. They admit that it's not worth anything. It has no money behind it. It's basically what people think. It's baseball cards. And it's not even a valuable baseball card. But that level of investment guaranteed him or granted him a seat at the exclusive dinner table this week with Trump and 24 other top donors. So the top 25 holders of $Trump meme coin were able to sit down to an exclusive dinner and have access to the president of the United States. Wouldn't that be like considered buying access, which I thought was illegal? I don't know. Maybe not.
I thought it was too. Wasn't there like a whole fucking West Wing episode about that shit where they were worried about some like fucking like fruit bouquets from a country, that kind of shit? You know?
It's really scary. All right. So, this was a whole story that I put a link to the main story about, like, that it's even a surprise that he's coming here because he's under investigation. They could literally arrest him. Now, think about it. They are arresting and deporting all kinds of people for saying all kinds of things. This guy's already under investigation and should be arrested because he's a financial criminal that scammed and ripped off thousands of people here. And he was able to sit down
right away.
He was able to have a sit-down dinner with the president.
Inconceivable.
One of the other things that came out of that dinner, apparently, I guess Chris must have been sitting at that dinner or somewhere connected to it, because all of a sudden there's an announcement that Rumble Cloud will now be host for Tron, for some kind of a Tron
Which
wallet.
already had a fucking thing.
How about that?
Uh-huh.
So within a week of the dinner,
Yeah.
Rumble and Tron announced a strategic collaboration, and Justin sat down with Chris at the Bitcoin 2025 conference. Now, I didn't write anything up about that yet. Bitcoin 2025 was like another Republican convention. And Rumble had a nice booth there where he had a nice sit down with Justin, and that was I don't remember who moderated it, which guy. This is the thing in the announcement. But yes, they're partnering in some strategic collaboration. Actually, I have the press release here. All right. Let me make that a little bigger for everyone to be able to see. So it's a DAO, which is, what exactly is a DAO? It's another just bank account that holds crypto. All right. So Rumble, the video sharing platform and cloud services provider, today announced a strategic collaboration with Tron DAO, the community-governed DAO, whatever that means, dedicated to accelerating the decentralization of the internet through blockchain technology and dApps.
Words.
Right. Words. In
Fucking
the initial
marketing
phase,
wank.
Rumble Cloud will provide access to its infrastructure, supporting a more decentralized and resilient foundation. They're basically going to use the servers that Rumble has bought, so they don't have to use an Amazon Cloud or Microsoft or any of those other things. No, it's literally web hosting services. This is how they were able to eventually, when they shut down, what was the name of the Getter, I believe it was the name of the social media platform that they used to go after the January 6ers. They used the Amazon cloud to go after those guys. So now they have their own cloud. Now there's a Rumble cloud. So Amazon can't shut them down ever. All right. There's no Amazon, none of these other companies. They're getting behind Rumble, which is getting behind Trump. All right. Because, by the way, Rumble Cloud also powers Truth Social. All right. Tron was built on the belief that the internet should be open, censorship resistant, and owned by its users. That sounds great. While he makes a ton of money in fees the entire time, by the way. Tron also reclaimed the distinction of being the leading network for Tether, the most widely adopted stablecoin. Huh. So wait, Tron and Tether are already in bed together, and now you've got Rumble, which was already getting owned by Tether in a big way, or invested in by Tether. It kind of makes sense to bring all of these things under one umbrella. And they'll continue to further consolidate. And then they'll pump this stock, and then they'll move to this coin. This is about moving pieces around a chessboard. All right. Now remember that Vice President J.D. Vance is a large early stage investor in Rumble. Commerce Secretary and Tether co-founder Howard Lutnick, big Rumble investor. Billionaire financier Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel and the Founders Fund is also a major investor in Rumble. And
Peter, Pumpkin Eater.
Remember that Rumble Cloud is the host for Truth Social, and Deputy Director FBI Dan Bongino had a top Rumble channel
Bongino.
and also has a close relationship with Rumble and its management. But I'm sure there's nothing to see here, right? Please disperse. What does any of this mean? How do the dots connect? Well, a lot of hand-picked players are working together with the federal government to strategize the future of money. The best person who I would recommend to help figure out some of the relationships here would be Whitney Webb at Unlimited Hangout. Also recommend watching Ryan Christian at The Last American Vagabond. Stay tuned and keep an eye on what the crypto and Bitcoin champions are up to. It's not going to be good for the rest of us, I can pretty much guarantee. So that's what I wrote about crypto and Bitcoin and Rumble and Tether. I mean, I even hold some Tether because I believe that when I had to get Ray from Rockfin, I exchanged Rockfin tokens for Tether, which I was then able to bring over to Coinbase and turn into actual cash. Hey, how about that? Right. Knights of the Storm, I agree with you. YouTube did it. Rockfin did it. How did YouTube do it? I mean, I wouldn't say the YouTube is paid out in crypto yet. They've only paid out in US dollars from what I've seen. All right. And they all keep your content, which you can't delete. Correct. I guess you could delete it, but they still store it on a server somewhere. Jason Knights of the Store. I foresee Rumble doing the same as every other video platform. They're loosey-goosey to get content, then they shut people down once established. Fair. I'd say that's pretty legit. Well, we don't want to be paid in crypto. We want to be paid in dollars, and we don't want to be paid on any of those platforms. So if you're able to, and it means Cash App is the best way to do that. $, Indie News Network.
Money, please.
Ho-fi.com/Indie News Network. PayPal.me/Indie News Network. And then again at INNnewsletter.com. But if you can, try to do it at one of those other three places. Again, we're trying to keep the money away from the platforms. Although they're nice people, they got plenty of money. And now they're...
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Especially Substack, that's now going after all these corporate outlets that are getting hundreds of thousands of paid monthly subscribers. They don't need my 10%.
Coming to a Substack newsletter near you.
They don't need 10% on my, $500 a year I'm literally making off of this stuff. Like, I'm publishing multiple times a day. That's not where I want people to hook us up. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. Love you, fam.
Bye-bye. Mwah. Ciao, baby. We are out of here.
No! We just fucking lost the stream.
You can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen? 50,000 died. And now we know our mission. We form a militia, make Congress a prison.